Welcome back to the Grim Workshop. Today we're going to be taking these dog tag tools and we're going to be making a leather neck sheath to hold these. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different because we're inside. I was outside shooting and I stopped to check the audio and I had to scrap all of that footage. It is so windy outside, you just can't hear a thing. So these dog tag tools are pretty darn handy to carry. I got in the habit of carrying 3 to 4 of them in that neck pouch, and you can set these up for urban use or EDC use with this strap cutter tool. They work great in wilderness situations with a fishing setup. Now when they come new from the factory, they have a chain on them, they have a dog tag silencer, and I have used these in the past, but I really prefer the look of this leather neck pouch. So today I'm going to show you how to make one. I have a pretty basic set of leather working tools, but we're going to be eliminating all these tools for this build. We're only going to be using tools that are supplied on some of the Grimm cards. Now you're also going to need, obviously, a piece of leather. This is about a 6-ounce piece of leather. You're going to need some type of cordage, and then we're going to be laying this out with a pencil. So the dog tag tools are about 1 inch wide, so I'm going to make a cut about 1.5 inches wide on our leather. So I'm going to use a straight edge for this, and then I'm going to be using the dog tag knife. So I've got about a 1/4 inch margin around for my stitching, and I'm just going to kick the sides down about like this. So I'm going to cut these corners off, and then I'm going to make this my back piece, and I want to come up about 1 inch total, and then we're going to put a center hole here for our lanyard. So we're going to kind of kick this down, kick this side down, and that's going to be our back piece. So here's how it's looking. Kind of a tombstone shape to it, and I've still got plenty of meat up here to attach our thread. So this one's done for the back side. Now we're going to use this, and we're going to make our template for the front. So essentially we're going to trace this same bottom shape, and I'm going to stop it right about where this starts to curve over. I'm going to give myself just a little thumb impression, so I'm going to be able to slide my thumb in there to help me get the tool out. These things do stick kind of tight. So to get that done, I'm going to go ahead and mark center, which is going to be 3/4. And I'm going to come down, I'll eyeball 1/4 about right here. I moistened this front piece of leather just a little bit to make it a little bit softer. And what we're going to do is put a groove in it. And that's going to make it look nice, and it's also going to let the thread kind of sink into the leather. This is a specialty tool, and you can adjust the inset of this, but basically it's going to just drag a piece. And that's enough for your thumbnail will catch it. That's enough for the thread's going to be buried. So to replicate this, I think I'm going to try to use the spork tool here. So I'm going to be able to hold one tine right on the edge of the leather. It'll be a lot easier when it's laying flat. And I'm just going to drag this, and this is going to give me nice straight stitching. Not too bad. Now what this tool does is this gives you your spacing for your stitching. Kind of works like a pizza cutter. And that just makes this job look fairly professional here. So I think I'm going to be able to use this spork tool again. And I think if I just press it, it's going to work for me here. So that it's not bad. I think that'll work. Now this is closer to the edge than I would really like to be, so I'm going to be really careful as I'm awling this out. Now to replace our awl, here's the Bonilla Thibodeau card. There are a lot of Grimm cards that feature the awl. Now you could do this project with a stitch awl, but because I've got Bonilla's card already out, I'm going to take 2 of her needles and we're going to put this together with a saddle stitch. So I've got 2 needles on the same piece of artificial sinew. And the needles that you're supposed to use with this are kind of a blunt tip needle, so you don't catch the thread, so I got to be real careful with that. But I've already threaded through, or I've already awled through. So I'm just going to take the needle, kind of find center. So I've got center here, so I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to take the needle on the left side, push it through, pull it tight, and then switch to the needle on the right side. Push that through from the other direction. And you gotta be careful with these sharp needles to not pierce your thread. And that's 1 stitch. So we're gonna keep alternating back and forth, left side, right side, both through the same hole. To finish this off, once we do our last hole, we're going to go back down through about 2 more holes, cut it flush, and then burn the ends. Before we get a whole lot further into this, let's go ahead and test it out. So if that's what you like, that's going to be our pattern. My last one I had was a little bit higher. It was a little more difficult to get the tools out, so I kind of wanted a little bit more access to it. And this is going to hold more than 1 tool, depending on the tool. So I can fit 2 in here for sure. And probably a 3rd. So I've got 3 of the standard size tools in here. Obviously, if you go with something like the dog tag knife, this is significantly thicker. But this is custom, so you can make it whatever you want. I probably am going to carry 2 tools, that way I have a little bit more freedom to get it in and out of there. I think I might make this like a small micro fishing kit. So the ends of this thing look a little janky, so a lot of the signature tools come with some sandpaper. And all we're going to do is just sand this down and burnish the leather. The ends of this aren't looking too bad now. I'm going to take my awl and kind of find dead center, and we're just going to make a hole big enough for some paracord. So I buried that awl, and I need this hole a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to grab the arrowhead tool off of Bonilla's card, and this is going to work just like a drill bit for me. So here's how it turned out. Pretty nice. I'm digging it. I put just a paracord on here for now. I've burnished the ends, and I think I'm going to leave this in its natural state. You can see I got a little bit of blood on here. But I am going on a kayaking trip in the Gulf of Mexico in just a few more days. So this is going to get salt and sun and sweat and patina on it. I think it's going to look pretty cool. When I get back, I'll probably seal it with some wax, and then we'll call it good.